Okay guys, welcome back to the Crypto Batcave again. We are having a bit of a look at the overall market, and I'm discussing what I can sort of see is going on, and what I see are some really good projects going on that are worth a look in this sort of overall dip. With that in mind though, it looks as though at the present time things are sort of starting to come back up. I'm just here on CoinGecko at the moment, also here looking at over the past 24 hours on my Australian exchange of choice, which is CoinSpot. Things are starting to have a bit of a resurgence at the moment, but I think this is just a sort of a price increase that is still part of an overarching dip. My general philosophy is never to buy something when it is on the rise. And I think a lot of people, myself included, have learnt that the hard way. When something is on the rise, it's very easy to see things picking up and think, oh goodness, things are picking up. I really want to sort of FOMO in and I want to buy in on that. But generally when something's gone up, not necessarily just 6.8% like what we're seeing with Bitcoin in the past 24 hours, but generally when something has gone up a significant proportion, like this here, Unify protocol, 70% in 24 hours, that's generally not a sustainable increase. So I personally, again, this video, not financial advice, it's just my opinions. I'm really getting obsessed with all this sort of thing. But yeah, personally, I don't feel like buying in on something like this here is a good idea, because a rise like that, as history has proven time and time again, is never sustainable. Instead, same with this, significant rises. Anything that's 20% and above over 24 hours, I personally have seen. You can look at all the charts. You can look at, any sort of token data, whatever it is, CoinGecko, Market Cipher, token metrics. It's generally not sustainable if it's anything above about 20%. So today it looks tempting to FOMO in. I'm not going to FOMO in. I'm all about buying the dip. Yesterday was a dip, and what you notice is that these 24-hour windows can actually be quite misleading, because you can see something like this that's had a huge increase over 24 hours, but this is probably not the best example, but generally like a huge increase over 24 hours, it's like a 24-hour window, and sometimes a huge increase can just be brought about due to the fact that there was such a significant dip the day before. So even if it's sort of had a correction, and again, this is not the best example, but even if something has had a correction back to just its standard sort of what it was prior to the dip, it can look like, if it was a big enough dip, it looks like it's significantly in the green when you actually look at it the next day, which can be slightly misleading to the untrained eye. So yeah, I wouldn't be FOMOing into any of these. Could indeed be, as I said in another video, flip a coin, get a crystal ball. No one knows for sure. This may indeed be the bull market phase 2 picking back up, coming back into full swing. I personally don't think it is though. I think things are still looking pretty bearish. That's the Australian prices there. Bitcoin at 49,000 is a steal. Going back to CoinGecko, because presuming most people will be interested in looking at things in US dollars, Bitcoin is still 37,000 US, which if you go back just a couple of weeks, this is a steal. It's an astonishingly cheap price. So things I think are still looking quite bearish at the moment, just forgetting the recent 7.5% or so 24 hours, refresh that. Sorry, 6.7% increase over the last 24 hours. So yeah, things I think generally are still looking bearish. There are all sorts of observations going on all over the place at the moment by all the observers. Some people, some influencers in particular, are still really bullish, sort of still saying we're all on track. We're on track for a US dollar speaking, we're on track for a 20+ thousand Ethereum by the end of the year, all that sort of thing. That may well be the case, but I still can't help but thinking they're saying it just to try and prop up their stocks, and it's not necessarily based on the facts of what we're seeing at the moment. If you can separate the facts from the media hysteria, things are certainly looking bearish at the moment. For instance, I had a string of coins recently. I had Dent Coin, I had BitTorrent, Wink, so on and so forth. You look at them, it's an interesting thing. Dent Coin is an interesting example. When you look at that, they all followed almost the same pattern with, because this is the 3-month chart of Dent Coin. Again, this is in Australian dollars, but it's the same chart, of course. they all had the exact same pattern. You look at Dent Coin, right about the early April, it peaked. Since then, that's very bearish. You know, you look at BitTorrent, they had a very similar cycle. Similar pattern. You look at that. So the 3-month pattern, again, early April, look at that, peak, dropping off, bearish the whole time. Since that, there is, the last approaching 2 months now of just decline. The exact same thing happened with Wink, which I've still got a small holding of. Wink, you look at them, you look at all the pattern on all of these, show charts, sorry, you look at the pattern, 3 months, Wink is much the same. Since early April, it's just been coming down. And a lot of these ones have had that exact same sort of pattern, yet in this whole time, you've had a lot of people saying we're still in a bull market, things are still going to go to unbelievable levels. Now, there were some exceptions, obviously. Top performer was one that I've owned for a long time. Ethereum, over the 3 months going into early April, it was only just beginning to heat up. But I think it's like that, even though this is technically an altcoin, it was the really alternative coins that seemed to have that pattern I'm just referring to, that were further down, lower down in market cap, closer to the top, deep into the top 100 or even within the top 200, all did that pattern where mid-April they all rose up, they all dropped off. But Ethereum was looking like it was going to just shoot up all the way to US $20,000 plus there for a while until we had this big dip. I personally still feel like that looks pretty bearish. You know, you listen to reports from some of the experts, such as the panel from Token Metrics that were all interviewed recently. I saw them on BitBoy Crypto. God love him. Excellent channel. If anyone hasn't watched BitBoy Crypto, definitely tune in. That's a great channel. But he interviewed the panel of executives from from Token Metrics. Market Cipher, I was going to say. He also interviewed Facemask, the CEO of Market Cipher. But I'm referring specifically to the Token Metrics team. He interviewed them, and they were all sort of indicating that if you start to see something like a 40+% correction, that is an indication that a bear market could be setting in, or at the very least a bear market within an overarching bull market, but at least a temporary bear market. Now, of course, when you look at Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin generally is what everything else follows in the shadow of Bitcoin generally. And when you look at this, the peak, what appears to be the peak, I know some of these charts are approximated just for graphical purposes, but let's say rounded off 65,000 US around the mid-April mark there. And when that's dipped right down there to 32, that's more than a 50% correction. And some of these guys from Token Metrics, they're the most advanced analysts out there that you'll find anywhere. The guys that run these, they're into advanced mathematics, advanced interpretations of charts and all that sort of thing, and so is Market Cipher, and they all seem to be agreeing that if you see a correction of 40+%, which we've had more than now since the all-time high in April, that's the indication that a bear market is setting in, or at the very least that there is a mini bear market within an overarching bull market, and there might be a V shape in the middle. Cointelegraph, great news site for anyone looking for their news in crypto. I was just on there earlier. But very quickly, so this is just a general discussion. I want to talk about three coins that I think have a lot of potential, regardless of where we are. I'm sort of the opinion that, just before I'd mention the coins, this is my philosophy at the moment. Obviously, we want to buy the dip. I'm not worried about missing the bottom, per se, because I feel like if you get the bottom, that's great. It's very hard, notoriously hard to get the bottom. Very, very, very hard to get the bottom. Get your crystal ball out. But I'm searching for the bottom, generally speaking. If we miss it and we go back up into a parabolic bull market, we'll all make money anyway. You buy in, you'll all make money. If you get the very, very, very bottom, that's fantastic. Ethereum, we've had some good entry points recently. If you miss the bottom, don't panic. Don't anyone panic, because if it all starts going back up parabolically, you'll make money no matter what, just like you did when things like Doge and some of the other ones that were even lower cap were shooting for the stars. We'll all make money if it starts going up parabolically anyway. But 3 coins that I think have got potential. First one is Audius. I think Audius is a fantastic project. It's built on the Solana ecosystem, and it's basically, so just from a tokenomics perspective, I like it a lot. So it's got a good blockchain, of course, but it's sort of changing, as in their own description. It's changing how, aims to change how artists and fans interact by creating one of the most cutting-edge music platforms that are available. And it is similar to things like Spotify and SoundCloud. However, it empowers musicians by giving them full control of their music and the ability to create exclusive and unique fan experiences. And this is, of course, something that artists have been unhappy with things like Spotify, because it's very hard for an emerging artist these days to actually make significant money off a record, because you can go to all this effort producing a song and then you release it on something like Spotify and you get per stream you're getting $0.0000001, say, don't quote me on that, per stream. And things like Audius are going to be able to enable music to become profitable again from an actual streaming sales point of view, which has been a big problem in the industry for a long time. In fact, you talk to a lot of artists, and the main way that they've been actually making profit is by putting on live shows. So Audius, I think, if it does indeed start to go mainstream, it will be huge. And as I said in an earlier video, the actual team from Token Metrics did an analysis of the tokenomics of Audius, and they've rated it as having an above 9 out of 10 rating for its fundamentals. So the blockchain, which is obviously good because it is based off, it's built on the Solana blockchain, which I've just done a video of earlier, which I think is fantastic. I'll go into more detail of that. Make sure you check the link out in the previous video, because it explains all about the proof of history, which is an amazing technology. And the other thing the Token Metrics guys rated it very highly for was tokenomics. And if you go in here to look at the tokenomics, and again, I don't think tokenomics are discussed often enough, it's got excellent tokenomics, because the maximum supply is just around the billion mark. Circulating supply is nowhere near that yet. It's only sort of approaching the 20% mined. Well, I presume it's mining, this one. I don't really know. I haven't looked into how they enter circulation. Presuming it's mining like everything else, but only 20% have been mined, and it's got a very, very small market cap. Like not like micro cap, but definitely low cap. What's the rank? So it's just outside the top 200 now. And so that there is something with good potential, because as I explained in an earlier video, and as I said, the advanced crypto people will already know this, but the price of a coin, in this case $1.10 US, comes from dividing the market cap by the circulating supply. So the forward projection, assuming something has a good technology behind it, can sort of be calculated and forecast when you look at what the maximum supply is and what the current market cap is. For instance, if something's got quite a low market cap and a relatively low maximum supply, which that is in the scheme of things, especially when you compare it to coins like Doge or Shiba Inu or SafeMoon or things that just have a ridiculous maximum supply, which means that they don't actually have the chance where each token can become extremely valuable. Steam popping up. But something like this, with a low cap, relatively low maximum supply, excellent fundamentals, it's got great potential. Another one that I'm think is a great project at the moment, and was actually going for a killer price just yesterday, is Cartesi. I think it's the fundamentals are good, tokenomics are good, and as they describe it, it is a decentralized and scalable Linux infrastructure. I feel like we haven't heard that word for a while, but they're the enduring Linux infrastructure, and it solves problems of computational scalability and development infrastructure for the decentralized web. And with Cartesi, and again, this is their description, which I've made notes on. With Cartesi, the blockchain applications can be coded with the vast domain of mainstream software stacks available today, which basically opens it up for a lot more people to start to create smart contracts and so on and so forth on this blockchain. Now, in addition to, say, I'll go into detail another time, you can research it yourself. It's always good to do your own research. This also has what I would describe as very good tokenomics. When I talk about tokenomics, the way I describe it is I'm looking at the market cap. This is actually ranked 172, so it's a little bit higher market cap, but it's still relatively low compared to people that are investing in something like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and all the things are in the top 10, Cardano, so on and so forth. Maximum supply is similar to Audius, it's $1 billion. Circulating supply is similar to Audius, it's about 31% of the billion that have been mined already. Now, this here was significantly higher than that. I believe it was nudging $2 about a week or so ago, so it's actually had a huge dip. Last night we saw an astonishingly good buy-in price for this coin. There we go. Again, some of these are often approximated, but here, hang on, it's $1.57. I swear it was more than that. In Australia, it was $2.25, so I think it was pushing 180. Oh, there we go. All-time high is $1.74, and that was just the other day. It's currently 58% correction since then, so it's actually a good entry point on that now, even though it's come back up in the last day or so. So that I'll do more videos on these, but like generally, I think Cartesi's great and Audius, and the third one I want to mention is Phala Network. I really do think Phala is promising. You know, you do all the research, and it's got lots of good fundamentals. It's derived from the Polkadot. It's built on the Polkadot blockchain, and like, you know, it seriously is good. It's got like the white paper is really well written, and you can sort of, that is a very telling sign too. It's amazing some of these hyped up, really alternative coins you look at, and you go to look at the white paper, and it's just written like garbage. Like I come from an academic background, so I'm sort of good at that sort of thing. But you can tell, you know, it's good to look at the white paper. This is written well. Everything sort of does tick all the boxes. There's transparency here with their team and all of this sort of thing. It's even got the GitHub source code on that's actually, I haven't seen that often. It's got the GitHub source code right there on the homepage. Again, Phala, excellent tokenomics. You look at it. Very low market cap. It's ranked in the top 300. That's at the point where you've got to start to question, does it have enough social media community behind it? I would say yes, because you're starting to look at it here. The amount of people that like it on CoinGecko is 26,000, and it does have a reasonably good following. As I said, it's on the Polkadot ecosystem. I think it's got a lot of potential, this one. You look at the market cap, it very low. Same, actually, all three by coincidence have the exact same maximum supply that I've discussed tonight, roughly of 1 billion. And this one has less mined. It's approaching the 20% mined out of the billion. But still, 1 billion is not that much in the grand scheme of things. Again, the price comes about, is calculated by dividing market cap by the circulating supply. So that's those tokens that are currently in supply, that have been mined, that are owned or on exchanges at the moment. Doesn't include ones that haven't been mined, but even if they are all mined, it's not that high, you know. And for comparison, you look at something like Shiba Inu, which, you know, got a lot of hype reason, and it has a bigger market cap. It does. So it actually does have quite a big. It's got a $4 billion market cap. But you look at the circulating supply there. It's so 1,000 million billion trillion. Hang on, 1,000 million billion trillion. What's that? Quadrillion. So 1 quadrillion of a total supply, maximum supply. So, you know, think about that. And if you're dividing market cap by what are we at? 1,000 million billion trillion. 497 trillion that are already circulating. You know, that explains why. So you divide this by the circulating, market cap by circulating supply. That gives you the price per coin. So that explains why they're so low. You know, so something like SHIB will never go to $1, say, because imagine how big the market cap would have to be. It would almost be at the point where it's the size of the whole, or probably even bigger than the whole GDP of the entire world. So yeah, just wanted to have a quick chat today. That's what I'm looking at. I personally, I haven't actually bought the dip yet, truth be told. But as I said, I'm not worried if I miss the whatever the bottom ends up being. I'm a big believer that it's impossible to pick the bottom. If any of you have a way to pick the actual bottom, please let me know. I swear it's not possible. My logic is you get somewhere that you think is the bottom, close to the bottom. I say to everybody, don't panic too much if you miss the bottom, because, as I said, if things start going parabolic again, something like Phala goes up, Audius, whatever, some of these good ones, even Ethereum, you're waiting on Ethereum and it starts going up parabolic again, we'll all make money anyway, just like we did from January all the way through to just a few weeks ago or whatever. So yeah, just want to have a quick chat about that, guys. I'm going to go more in depth about the technology behind some of these coins. I'm keen to learn more and more myself, but these are some that are certainly on my radar that I don't think you can go wrong with. Again, just opinions. This is not financial advice at all, but I think have a look into some of these. Let me know what you think if you're buying any of these, if you're selling any of these, and I'm keen to hear if anyone is actually watching this at all. Really keen to know what people think we're at in terms of the bottom of the whole market. Are we at the bottom yet, or do we still have space to go down? I think we still got space to go down. I think all of the charts still looking quite bearish, actually, I do think. So thanks for listening, guys. I'll check back in soon.